The Shasu are one of the mysterious tribal groups of the southern Levant. Who were they? What is known about them? Were they Israelites? Okay, the Shasu would probably be of very, very little interest to most of us if it wasn't for an inscription that occurred that is found at the temple, the Soleb temple, which dates to Amenhotep III, the Shasu of Yahu. Now, some early day supporters like Titus Kennedy say that the Shasu of Yahu is actually the Israelites. He reasons that the Shasu were just wandering tribes, Bedouin, and Yahu is a name for Yahweh. So therefore, this must be the Israelites before they entered the Promised Land. Today, we're going to look at the Shasu and see if that really bears out. Now, as we investigate the Shasu and this interesting inscription, the Shasu of Yahu, we need to ask sort of two important questions. Who were the Shasu, and what exactly is Yahu? Regarding who were the Shasu, they were a wandering tribal group that lived in the Sinai and in the region of Edom. The earliest reference to the Shasu is found dating to Tutmosis II and can be located in the biography of Akhmosa Pen Nekbet. Now, what's interesting is that this reference actually predates both the early and the late view of the Exodus. The Year 9 campaign of Amenhotep II records that Amenhotep II took prisoners, among whom were Shasu and Hapiru and Hurrians. Papyrus Anastasi VI mentions the Shasu of Edom passing the border fortress of Merneptah in order to water their flocks in the Wadi Tumilat. Now this is very interesting because it records Shasu actually coming into Egypt during the Ramesside period. Now if the Shasu are Israelites, it would seem very, very strange that they would be coming back to Egypt to water their flocks. So I don't think we can take the Shasu as being synonymous with the Israelites. Papyrus Harris I, dating to Ramses III, talks about the people of Seir. This is Mount Seir. It talks about them, quote, being the people of Seir are among the Shasu. Okay, so it really narrows this down to being tribal groups in that eastern Sinai, Edom region. But what about the Soleb inscription? Could the Shasu of Yahu be specifically a reference to the Israelites? Well, the problem with the Soleb inscription is that it is badly damaged. We don't have the complete text. But fortunately, we do have a partial fragment that has both the Shasu of Yahu and what immediately comes before and what comes after. And it reads, the land of Shasu of Turabaru, the land of Shasu of Yahu, and the land of Shasu of Samata. Fortunately, this inscription was copied by either Seti I or Ramses II in the Amara West Temple, and mentions this particular fragment that includes the Shasu of Yahu, and it reads, the land of the Shasu of Seir, the land of the Shasu of Laban, the land of the Shasu of Payas, the land of the Shasu of Samata, the land of the Shasu of Yahu, the land of the Shasu of Turabaru. Now, this is actually muddies the water something. As it regards what does Yahu mean, it's actually quite unclear. It is possible that Yahu could be the name of the god Yahweh. That is entirely possible. But we can't be sure. In some place names, we have a theophoric determinative, basically a character that reveals that it is a god. Like Baal-Zephon has the Seth god determinative. Pi-Hahirot has the goddess determinative. But Yahu does not have any determinative that tells us it's a god or something else. It could also be potentially a place name. Yahiwah, that's a possibility. And it's a possibility we cannot exclude. It's even possible that it is named after a specific person or a god, so it's a place name that's named after a person or deity. Any one of these is possible, and the name alone is not sufficient to make a determination. Moreover, each one of these land of Shasu of whatever, Seir, Laban, Yahu, is surrounded by a captive circle. This means that these groups were conquered or subdued by Amenhotep III. Even more so, the cluster of these particular groups, and some of these place names are known, like Seir, indicates that all 6 of these groups lived in the region of Edom. I think this is kind of problematic for identification for the Israelites for a couple of reasons. First, I think that the Amarna letters show that Amenhotep III reigned from 1389 to 1351 BC. This places it places the ascension of Amenhotep III 57 years after the early date of the Exodus. If you're trying to make a case from this that this is evidence of an early date of the Exodus, then the Israelites should already be in the Promised Land. They shouldn't be wandering around the country of the Edomites. So that is actually a problem if you want to make the case that these are wandering Israelites. The fact is, though, that even if you do say dicker with the chronology to try to massage it to make it fit, you still have the problem that the other tribes of Shasu mentioned in this list are firmly in Edom, when the Israelites were told not to occupy Edom. They were to pass through and move on. So you have a problem there if you are trying to make the case that the Israelites lived amongst the Edomites. That doesn't seem to fit well with the biblical narrative. Furthermore, the Kur de Kashe wall at Karnak shows something very interesting, which is Merneptah's early conquest of the Levant. In the lower register, it shows some Shasu. But in the upper register, we see some other Levantines that aren't dressed like the Shasu. Who are these Levantines? Most likely, they're Israelites. At least according to Larry Steger and Mark Jansen. So what we have here is that the unfortunate situation where the Shasu are culturally and geographically distinct from the Israelites. And the fact is that at the time when we find the Shasu of Yahu, if the early Exodus date is correct, and if Titus Kennedy's hypothesis is correct, the Israelites should have been somewhere else. So the very most that we can say about the Shasu of Yahu is that the Shasu may have worshipped Yahweh, but they weren't Israelites. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you liked it, please hit that subscribe button, and I will see you next time on Ancient Egypt and the Bible.